why would we not go 1-to-1 on it? Because it's actually casting resin, and you got to mix it per the ratio that it is. We'll see what this gets now. Now we'll be at 9 gallons of resin in this cast. So kind of a good thought. You figure it probably has 30-40% coverage with the wood. And we're filling a 4x4 square. You guys done anything fun in town since you've been here?
First day we went up to the monument. I mean, we come through here all the time.
We came a couple days early.
We usually just try to go up the mountain.
Right on.
So Saturday we got here Saturday, so we've been running around for.
Did you get to go anywhere else cool or?
Not real, because Saturday and Sunday we did kind of went up the mountains, and then this week we've just been here and kind of
We went downtown.
going to like different restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
We went and listened to Gary last night at Bailey's Live or
Bailey's Lounge.
Gary?
Gary
The
country
Gary
singer.
Russell Band.
Gary Russell Band.
Oh.
Leah knows, or not Leah.
It was somebody that
Is he local or is he a big
Yeah,
name?
he headlines at Warehouse all the time.
Okay.
The waitress there knew him. But he opens for a lot. You know when the big acts come through, like.
I don't know a lot of. I've actually never been to a concert in my life.
Really?
Never. Never.
I've
been.
Having one.
I don't.
Yeah.
And I've been to one bar here in town. One time, I met somebody, had a drink, and I left. I'm just very much not a.
Do you like Ben?
Huh?
Do you like Ben?
707. Yeah, I like that place a lot. I'm like, I'm good to go there for lunch. I don't care about. I'm just not a fan of like. I don't also give a fuck if something's trendy or not. If I like it, it's good. If it's not, it's not.
We only go there. My husband's a bit of a snob for cocktails, and so
Which distillery? Palisade? I have 3 kids though, so when I'm out of work, fuck everybody. I just want to go see kids. I can't stand, like, people are always like, you want to go hang out? I'm like, no, I got kids that are waiting to see me and I can't stand time away from them, so I'm not. 6, 9, and 10. Right? So fun. What? Yeah, I think it's a fun part of life. 2 little gangster girls and a crazy little boy that's super sweet for them. It's looking pretty good for you. No real swirls or anything. No bubbles. At least like that douchey kid that was mentioned the other day, like that was getting all the air into it. You want your other bucket? You're good to dump. You're good to dump it. Help her with that pedal. Now just take that drill pedal off. Don't ever set your drill down with your paddle up, while the resin will drip down that shaft, and it'll go in the hole of the drill. And you'll have a drill that's permanently just good for one. I am so sorry. I was trying to not step on your foot any harder. pretty dumb. Which thing? Colorado National Monument. That's kind of fun. I mean, I go way out when I explore. I like to go up past the very first door. That's a fun place too. The lower rattlesnake arches. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Upper's way better, but you probably want like a Can-Am or a 4x4 to get in there. And if you hike it, there's more arches than Canyonlands has. There's some huge ones you'll hike through too that are just vast, open, and amazing. Just let us call it before you come back next time, and we'll help you out with some of that stuff. Probably won't let just so some of you guys could.
He's like putting his
You could,
I know.
if you came around here, you could probably. Actually, that's probably the least likely to get loaned because that's my little girls. It's just 2 for me, 1 for my boy, another 1 for my boy when he gets used to switching off just trying to get him into 2 strokes and a little more power and clutch.
Let it run real quick. Be careful not to.
Right? I never, the first 2-stroke I ever owned was 300, and then I'd had a bunch of 450s, like probably 6 or 7 450s, and once I switched out to 300, I've never gone back to anything else as far as my main trail. I just like slippery, nasty simple jack, and 300's just run that stuff. Oh, I doubt it. What's up? I don't think anything fell. Huh? You know, it's kind of cool too because there's already mass in this now, so it's going to stabilize the temperature a lot easier. So the thinner it is, like your first pour can heat up a little quicker. Your second pour, because epoxy conducts heat really well, especially that it's poured, cured, cooled down really well overnight, it'll keep this nice and cool for a whole lot longer. When all you have is that board on the bottom, that melamine, and it can get hot pretty quick. So it's not too thick. Whereas now this mass will stabilize that temperature. So even if this is getting a little too warm, you don't want to let it get away from you ever, but it'll kind of stay this on. This is pretty badass, guys. I'm kind of liking this table more than I thought. No, just set the heat. Yeah, I mean, it should always be around 70, 73 degrees, somewhere in there in here.
I pour a countertop in my shop. It's 70 to 75 minutes a day. It dives to 30.
Keep it warm. When you're pouring countertops, there is no excuse. You got to have it warm. That's the one thing. I mean, I actually have another shop close to here, and when I pour in there, I have 2 big heaters, and I'll turn it all the way up and let it get 110 degrees or something and leave it on overnight. So I spent $10, but I have a rock hard cured countertop the next morning. So
It gets up a little higher than so.
higher is amazing. So, I mean, some people post cure their product and they'll get it up to 160, 180. And that's how you actually create you'll get about 3 times the scratch resistance and hardness if you post cure.
So how would you do like an outdoor?
Here, hold on. Here, let's just do this. How would you do an outdoor?
Yeah, like around here. Where
Don't do it if you can't control heat.
Right, okay.
Just don't. Temperature is not something that you can really, I mean, it's not really an option.
Are you okay after it cures for a couple of days to have it drop down to like 30 after it's cured? How many days do you think on it?
Oh yeah, yeah, once you're 2-3 days, you're fine.
You move it.
But your cure's stopped. You're not curing any longer, whereas your cure's gonna be taking place generally for 2-3 days. So
Okay, so
the majority, like 98% of your cure is happening in the first 3 days. 96% I think actually technically, under normal temperatures. Yep.
what's the full cure?
30 days is a full cure, but you're getting an additional like 3%. So
Oh, okay.
it's not like you're getting 60% more.
That looks so good. I like the blue.
Would you put in it just to mix lumber with what's it called? Kill the air bubble. Oh, like
Yeah.
Yeah, spraying it in along the side of all this. Okay, we'll just let this kind of settle for a minute. Do you guys want to meet in the classroom? We have something exciting to go over. Maybe, we'll see. Yes, sir. What's that? Oh, nah, your diamond shield won't fix that because the epoxy is uncured inside. It'll never cure. Nothing will ever cure. It won't because it's just soft. Hey, thanks for being respectful yesterday too, by the way. I know at the warehouse last night.
Did they tell you?
Yeah, thanks. I really actually appreciate you. I don't so much appreciate everybody else, but
No, come on.
seriously, they told me what people asked. I got to hear.
Thank you.
You guys all ready? We still got people over there, Dom? Minus that guy. We're missing some people, aren't we? Where are some of our people? Where's our important people? It's one person I would love to have here because I had a fun announcement. Your dad, right? Where's he at?
He's with Ethan. Martinez with Ethan.
Okay, all right. Good luck with that one. All right, so I'll just go over that later. I'm gonna go over, this is my perception of marketing. Obviously, there's a lot of different strategies. If you're marketing and you're marketing to your specific region, you might have things that help you with your marketing strategy that might be a lot different than how I would market a global company. One of the biggest things I see is a lot of people try to copy each other with marketing. Usually the downside to that isn't the copying part, it's that they're copying a different business model as marketing, if that makes sense. So the way I manufacture and distribute resin around the world, my marketing strategy is gonna be inherently different than how you're gonna be marketing if you're trying to install in a specific city. Does that make sense? So what works for me doesn't work for you. So, and vice versa, what works for you guys might not work for him. Maybe you do better with some kind of print advertising or something like that down in Florida. You guys might be better word of mouth if you're in a smaller rural community, so you have to know those things. So don't let me forget not to mention that later. So, all right, so I don't even know why I leave this up here because I used to just do this by word and then I tried to kind of make some lists and make a PowerPoint out of it, and I'm not very good at reading this. So your target audience, choose your target audience, make sure they're solving bigger problems than other kinds of applications that aren't solving their problems, educate them on why they should choose you and why epoxy is right for them, time saving, less invasive. There's a lot of things like this. Basically, a lot of people try to make a marketing strategy for epoxy and they'll copy, say, granite, and they'll say, look at granite. Would you like Ubatuba granite? Would you like to look like white marble? You're not here, if you want to be successful at epoxy, don't try to advertise for granite guys and then say, oh, you can get the same thing cheaper. I see a lot of guys go out and they say, we're cheaper than granite. What the fuck are you trying to do? Like, do you think Ford would do a marketing campaign that's just, we're cheaper than Chevy? No. Or Chevy do that to Ford? It'd be a stupid marketing plan. Both of them are trying to show where they're better. And obviously we know Ford Raptors are a lot better than anything Chevy makes. So choose your target audience wisely. Your target audience wants to be able to see that you can provide what they're asking for. What are they looking for? This is something right here that I believe a lot of people are so busy in trying to figure out what they do that they don't actually stop and listen to their customer. The biggest thing I see is a lot of us walk into customers' houses and many of us don't listen to our customers. We come there because I do countertops, I'm excited to sell you a countertop, but I don't hear you say, yeah, as soon as we can get our floor figured out, I really need to do the countertops. And what you just heard if you listen to the lady is, oh fuck, this lady's in a 3,800 square foot home and she wants her floors redone, and I could make 55,000 here, I could make 4,000 on her countertops. So sometimes just slowing down to listen, it actually is profitable to listen to people. So maybe not me, but to your customers, yes. What kind of customers do you have at the moment? A lot of people leave here. Who has a friend that started a t-shirt company? We've all had somebody we know that was like, hey, I'm gonna print t-shirts, right? And you're like, well, you suck at business, or you suck at work, you don't wake up on time, and you had one catchy slogan on a t-shirt and you think you're gonna sell a bunch. And then they assume they're gonna fuck their friends like Melaleuca salespeople, right? And every one of their friends is gonna buy a t-shirt from them. And then a year later, you're like, how's your t-shirt company going? Yeah, we're not really doing that. I've just seen that type of business model 1,000 times. Don't be a Melaleuca salesman. Actually try to find what customers have needs, what your customers' needs are, how to solve those. That's a legitimate business. So you're not going home with a bunch of epoxy and trying to sell a bunch of cutting boards and shit to all your friends, unless you want them not to like your product. Be able to read your customers. The number one thing to reading your customer is listening, stopping and hearing what your customer has to say. Towards the end, when I stopped actually installing, and my guys did too, I had several salespeople. We had about 35 people in the field that were installers. So I got an opportunity to be on a ton of job sites that I didn't actually have to work through all the problems myself, but I was able to see a ton of problems. I was able to see a lot of customers. And what I couldn't believe is how few people literally just listened to their customer and paid attention. Think about this. We sell a sand coating called SuperTrax. We could do wall epoxy or pour a panel and go into your shower. We could do a floor or we could do a countertop. Many of you do whole remodels, but so often we're coming out there to bid a countertop because that's what's written down, so we don't hear anything else the person talks about. I'm a bit redundant, but I feel like that's the most profitable thing. Anticipate their needs. Also, you're the expert, so don't be afraid to be the expert and tell them like, hey, I personally don't think it would be correct to do this in your home. I'm gonna be really honest with the customer even if I lose money, because then I would rather have their trust and take care of them than have their immediate money right here today, because I don't care if I ever have your money right now. If you're not gonna trust me to give you your money over a long period of time, you're gonna make a lot more. One of the most successful forms of marketing we've ever seen is first-person marketing, a home show, somewhere where you're taking your products, putting it right in front of your customers. The awesome thing about this is you're gonna see customers coming in that want all types of different things done to their homes, businesses, whatever, at a home show, and you're gonna be able to actually see like, okay, I talked to 7 of my friends and my mom who likes everything I do, but I haven't actually got to see 5,000 people that could give a fuck about me walk past my home show and see what they have to say, because that's what I care about. We had a sample that, yes, it looked exactly like a vagina. I thought like, because I'm a dirty-minded kid, I probably thought that's what it looked like, but nobody would ever think that. We put it up at a home show. I literally saw like 30 women being like, oh shit. And they would go get their husbands and bring their husbands back and be like, look at that shit right there. And then pretty soon, it was ridiculous. And I was like, oh my gosh, everybody thinks the same thing. So, yeah, so we had to put a penis next to it. But, sorry, no. It was awesome to get a non-educated group of people to see a totally non-biased perception of what we have. So often too, who here has a little bit of personal pride? You all do. If I call you a douchebag, for some reason you're gonna be like wishing I didn't, and you're gonna be wishing I'd have seen something other than the douchebag coming out of you, because you have personal pride. You're not gonna wanna be called that because you actually do have some pride. I can say it's easy to put a lot of pride into what we do than put it at a home show, and we don't want the negative feedback. But the negative feedback, as long as it's not just some negative bitch being worthless, which is usually a guy that's being a bitch, it's extremely useful. I think one of the most useful things is helpful criticism. What could you do better? I think really amazing companies are usually built on people that can actually self-reflect and listen to what people say. What time of the year are you running your home show? This is a big thing. Are you running a home and garden show advertising all exterior coatings in the fall in an area like this where it's all gonna get snowed over, so you know the first job you could actually go out, bid, and complete would be in 5 months from now? That's extremely common. We see that all the time. Guys are going into home and garden shows, they're advertising exterior products right before their area gets totally locked out for the winter. Stupid. So you have to be tactical, and I do believe that success is not an accident, so don't be fucking accidental when you're looking at marketing. It's expensive to market. Obviously, word of mouth is the best, but a lot of times we have to get home from here or whatever new product we're learning about, and you have to market it at first. Even though you think you have a good customer group, they're a great customer group on what you do right now. They're probably not a good customer group on what they don't know you do yet. So you have to educate new people, teach them what you do. What product can you display during different seasons? Be thoughtful of that. Is the location of the home show in an area you want to service? We have a lot of diamond coat guys that leave and they are like, hey, I'm going to try to run all these home shows all over the place. And what have I asked a lot of them? Oh, are you really going to drive 5, 6 hours, 7 hours to bid a job? Yeah, no, I don't think I'd do that. What the fuck are you doing a home show 6 hours from your house then? Like, are you moving? Like, I don't know. But I see that all the time. I just feel like a lot of people get excited. They want to put stuff in front of people. I can say it's much worse. I would rather you never know about the product than tell you all about it, get you excited about it, and then tell you I'm not going to service you. Because then you're just going to find it from a competitor. And you're never going to. You come back to my town again, and you're like, oh, hey, now I'm here. And everybody's, oh, that's that dumbass that never showed up for the bid. He got us all excited and left. So who's in front of me? This has a lot to do, I think, with finances and how ready they are. The one reason I think a home show is very valuable is these people are showing up with money waiting for a remodel. If you ask everybody in a home show, you have your old post-church people on Sunday that are like, I was super bored, I have nothing going, my kids haven't quite put me in an old folks home yet, so I'm allowed to just go out and drive for the afternoon. So I'm going to the home show to look for it. What you have a ton of, aside from that, is a bunch of people saying, well, I've saved up, I've waited, I went to last year's home show, we saved 30 grand, we're gonna do a home renovation. I might wanna do windows, I might wanna do countertops and floors first, I'm not really sure. Guess what? If you're not very sure of yourself and sure of your product and well displayed, they're gonna do windows before they do their floors and countertops. Layout of the booth is important. We have seen a lot of things. Who here, and I'm sorry I'm burping like crazy. Who's been to a home expo? Who's not been? Okay, you gotta go to a home show, man. They're so fun. You'll learn a lot about just your industry. Who's walked into an expo and seen somebody that's selling swamp coolers and they got a pretty girl to sit at a table and she's off in the corner on her iPad, her iPhone. And you're like, well, you stupid fucking woman. Like, or who owns your company that doesn't care? Be approachable, stand up, be presentable, be thoughtful. Don't try to be a salesman. Hey, what are you here for today? It might not be for a fucking swamp cooler, but you might start a conversation that leads to us selling a swamp cooler or whatever the hell you're selling. Have good samples that can be replicated. How many of you feel like you've done something really cool here in class that you don't know how you would redo? Don't put that shit in a home show. Until you know you could replicate it, do not advertise it. It'd be better not to have it. Having a sample that gets chosen and then you can't do, that's worse than being the guy that we were just talking about that shows up, advertises, and then leaves and can't service those people. So display enough information. This should be passive information too. So if this was the back wall of my home show booth, which would be very similar to what I would do, my chosen size usually that I think is successful is 10 feet by 20 feet. You can have people go in behind a table, walk through, exit the other side. If you're a customer, if you're anything like me, do you want to walk into a home show booth knowing you could get trapped behind a bunch of people and you can't get out? You're going to stand in the hallway, you're going to take a card, a flyer. You're basically just saying, I'm not interested because I couldn't be approach in a comfortable situation where I can get out. So I always make sure that you have some walk-through traffic. You can get out either end of my booth and people are going to walk through. So display enough information, passive, not intrusive. I'm going to have things on there like, are you tired of granite? Seamless, non-porous, food safe, epoxy countertops. Choose any color options, like whatever you see in your area that's become very successful, you're going to have to grow on these things, and we have a marketing team that can help you with this. You want as much information out there that answers their questions so they don't have to talk to you. Because if you're anything like me, I don't think anyone hates a salesperson more than me. I fucking hate salespeople, and I don't want to have to ask you something and then have you try to rattle off some sales pitch at me when I was just maybe wanting to know if it was granted or not. And then you see all the guys, because guys are really douchey and they don't want to tell their girlfriend that they don't know shit. They'll pass your booth. If you don't have something on it saying exactly what you have, you're going to hear this, and I have heard this 100 times at least. Oh, babe, don't even look. That's just granite. We don't need granite. And you're like, hey, it's epoxy. You don't want to have to be intrusive like that. You'd rather her be able to say, oh, I'm sorry, honey, that you're an illiterate fuck, but it actually says it's epoxy and it's not granite, and you shouldn't tell me what stuff is. So Answer as many of their questions with text as possible so that they don't have to be intruded on while they get it. So make sure that what you do put up there is solving their problems. Seamless countertops go directly over your existing tile. Those are the things that are going to make somebody interested. When me and my chemist were talking, and we actually kind of argued because I thought he was an idiot, and we talked about bonding to tile, and I'm like, nobody wants to bond to tile. It's going to be shit. All the people that saw, I actually pour directly over your existing tile. And I thought, we'll see what kind of trailer houses I end up in this year. We'll see. Instead, it was all the highest end homes I'd ever been in because I was in front of all these customers that said, I've already had 6 wood floor bids. I've already had 2 guys from tile companies come out here. Every guy says they're either removing my cabinets or cutting along the toe kicks. Has anyone ever cut tile along a toe kick in a kitchen? Nobody ever? Anybody here have jobs? So, okay. If you guys were all contractors, everybody here would say, yes, it sucked. There is no way to vacuum up all the dust when you're trying to cut with a 4-inch angle grinder with a diamond blade and you're trying to cut the tile so you can shred it off. Has anyone ever removed tile off of an OSB subfloor? You pull the backer pulls the subfloor, you shred the subfloor, you're trying to pull the subfloor, the rest of it, and pull the nails or screws or however it was attached off of your floor joists. Then you're trying to slide OSB underneath cabinets, get it all back secured. Then you're trying to mud set backer back to it. A simple tear out in a kitchen is going to dust a whole entire house. You're trashing a whole bunch of OSB, a bunch of backer. I don't know. Testing. Testicles. Testes. They hear me? It's not, it was 100% me being dumb and not the microphone being dead.